If magic is your passion, that's great. But sometimes it can be the wrong focus. To be an interesting magician, we need to get a life, in the words of legendary close-up performer Mike Close. The author of The Elusive Illusive, Ben Daggers, took that advice to heart and has been living as an international man of mystery ever since. Originally from England, Ben has traveled the globe studying with other magicians. Juan Tamariz in Spain, Pitt Hartling in Germany, local amateurs in Manila, and many, many more. But he hasn't only studied magic. He's focused on creating rich cultural experiences that have enriched his performance style. And I believe there are some things that we can learn from this approach. He speaks English, German, Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish. He's a classically trained pianist, and for the last several years he has resided in Osaka, Japan, where he puts on weekly magic shows with his creative partner and collaborator, Ponta the Smith. Through this forum of regular shows, he's honed a professional close-up magic act. And now he's sharing some of these prized secrets in this latest magic book from Vanishing Inc. As most of you already know, I am the CFO for Vanishing Inc., so I'm part of the team that actually published this book, and I want you to know that as we begin to discuss it. But as always, I'm going to shoot straight with you, provide a factual discussion, and of course, you are always welcome to opine down in the comments below. I know you as erudite magicians are going to want to hear about this one, so let's dig in and look at what you'd like to know about this beautiful magic book. The first thing for you to know on a high level is that there are no pipe dreams in this book. Ben has used and honed every one of these tricks in his shows, so they're practical. But let's not confuse practical with easy. Some of the effects in the book will require intermediate to advanced sleight of hand, but there are also others that don't require much in the way of chops. But more on that in a minute. Let's talk about some of the book's characteristics. The book is a hardcover book without a slipcase or dust jacket. It is cloth bound, there is no ribbon, and it clocks in just shy of 220 pages. There's a lovely blue theme with full color photographs throughout. And if you bought distilled, it very much reminds me of that form factor, both in the fact that it's a similar sized book in terms of its dimensions and also approximately page count. But that's enough about the physical characteristics. You probably want to know more about the content. This is all close-up material. Most of it requires a table, but not all, and Ben rightly points out that this magic is adaptable. It could play for a bigger parlor audience, or you could continue to use it in intimate environments as it was designed. While Ben provides you with his full presentations and scripts, you'll obviously want to change it to fit your performance style and conditions. There are 10 card tricks, 2 coin tricks, 3 essays, and 2 original sleights found in these pages. The card tricks run the gamut, everything from an A-can in a glass to do as I do with a participant mirroring your actions. There's a trick that uses both yours and the participant's 5 senses to find multiple selected cards. And there's a triumph disguised as a race to fix the deck, etc. You could tell this is classic style material, and along those lines, Ben shares his inspirations in the notes section at the end of each write-up. Speaking of the write-ups, this is the type of book that's laid out in a very structured way. At the top, you'll get some notes about the trick, maybe origins, the effect as it would appear to the audience, the method overview, so you can decide whether you even want to read further and discover how to perform it in detail, the setup if there is any, and then of course a detailed layout of the method, including a full script of the finished presentation. There are also a few footnotes, so you can tell that Ben has done his homework and respects original sources. The other non-trick items are good, with one exceptional standout: the drop shuffle. As you hear the buzz about this book, this one item is likely to come up again and again. It's a full deck false shuffle that works as both a false shuffle and a very clever force of a card. If you're into stack work, it's just a really cool way you can even do the shuffle face up. Oh, and did I mention, it's easy to do. Speaking of difficulty, who would like this material? As previously discussed, it's primarily tabled card magic. And you should know that the card tricks can be sleight of hand dense. To perform everything in the book, you'll need to be able to handle multiple perfect pharaohs, continuous second deals, extensive culling, etc. But not everything requires extensive heavy lifting. One of my favorite tricks in the book, Mirror Mirror, essentially uses no sleight of hand. And it's a delightful piece of close-up theater. There are also 2 coin routines which don't require you to be particularly dexterous with sleight of hand. Just some basic palms and passes. If you're willing to put some work in, you can also find alternatives to perform these effects without using the heavy-handed sleight approach that Ben prefers. So where is the value in this book? While it is $50 at full retail, to me, the real value is in seeing the theater and art that's possible within the context of classic tricks. Ben has worked hard to refine traditional effects to play well for him through the lens of his experiences. The final coin routine in the book is a masterpiece of how to make a fairly standard coin routine work to highlight your personality and style. But even more than that, the diligent student will find clues on how to make this material your own. Ben isn't afraid to show his audiences who he is, even if he has a zany presentational style, and it might not be for everyone. That's because he has a life outside of magic, rich with experiences that help shape who he is. As he points out in one of his essays, our thinking isn't shaped by the fact that we do magic. The fact that we do magic in the first place is shaped by our thinking. So the question that remains is, what are you doing to shape your thinking? What are you doing to get a life? If some of the discussions of sleights in this review scared you, check out this video on how you might think about that differently. As always, my friends, I appreciate you watching, and until next time, keep reading.